We're talking with Jason Cozens, the CEO of Glint Pay today, which is a debit card that pays for things in gold, which is just, it's fascinating. I've been thinking about you a lot lately with the inflation, because I know we've talked about inflation and how, and especially with crypto and the collapse that we've seen. And explain to me what the problem is in our economy right now and how gold is interrelated to
Yeah,
that.
sure. Well, I mean, obviously we've got inflation now in the US at 8.5%, and for some people it's even higher. If you're in New York, if you're in LA, it's higher for you. In the UK, it's 8.3%. And this isn't anything new, actually. Inflation's been with us for some time. In my lifetime, it's meant that the cost of living's been increasing dramatically, and the purchasing power of the US dollar has dropped by 85% in my lifetime. It's become nearly worthless. So has most other fiat currencies, government-issued currencies as well. But gold is the ultimate store of value. I mean, it backed the US dollar up until 1971, when Nixon took us off that standard. And the only problem with gold, though, is that you couldn't use it to make normal purchases, and that's what Glint has done. It's given everybody out there a real alternative. We've enabled physical gold as everyday money.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's so cool about it is that you can pay with actual gold, but this is a real economic thing too, because it will hold its value, you believe, versus anything else out there.
Yeah,
US
absolutely.
dollar.
And these problems, which you kind of mentioned before, we've got, there's more than just inflation now. We have the stock market collapsing, cryptocurrency bubble deflating. We have, it seems really that we're not going to be able to avoid a recession. We've got war with Russia. All of these things create huge uncertainty and difficulties for people across the country. And what we're giving people is a glint of hope, if you don't mind the pun. We're giving them a choice. You no longer have to be limited to just using the US dollar or any other currency. You can now use gold. Everybody can.
Yeah, to pay for everyday things.
To save, to be able to buy it, save it, spend it for everyday things.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I know you buy plane tickets with it, and it just works like a credit card.
Yeah, including the gelato in New York just yesterday,
So what's working in this environment, would you say?
Well, I think the only two things left standing at the moment are the US dollar and gold. And in a basket of currencies, gold is up in other baskets of currencies. But even against gold, we all know, against the US dollar, we know that gold will ultimately win the race. That's what history shows us, is that, for instance, in my lifetime, rather than losing its purchasing power, gold's purchasing power has increased by over 500%. And that was before, we did that calculation before all of these big changes over the last 2 years. I mean, the US have printed, out of all US dollars in existence, 20% of them were printed during the pandemic. So there's a lot of built up pressures for more inflation in the system. I think
that even
still to come.
Causes me to be surprised that the dollar is doing so well.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think around the world there's a flight to safety. Where do you go? And the dollar is seen as that flight, is that safe haven. But gold is the ultimate safe haven. So it's still, people around the world are all flying towards gold. We've seen huge increases in the number of customers we're having. I think we're at about 115,000 users at the moment, and we're onboarding between 5,000 and 10,000 new users a month.
And you're global.
We're global, yeah. People are opening an account in up to 200 countries around the world, and we're issuing our card in the UK, in the US, and we did issue it in Europe until Brexit, but we're about to become regulated in Europe again and start issuing again in Europe too.
So tell me about the gold protocol. This is something new that you have?
Yeah, we've just launched a gold portal for financial advisors and wealth managers, which allows them for the first time to be able to open Glint accounts for their customers. Now, why would they do that? Well, it allows these wealth managers, discretionary wealth managers, to be able to buy allocated gold for their customers. Up until now, they tend to buy ETFs, which are funds that sometimes are backed by gold, or unallocated gold. And in both those situations, there's liability involved or credit involved. With Glint, you're buying real allocated gold that's in the vault in Switzerland. And so by allowing wealth managers and discretionary fund managers and advisors to be able to open Glint accounts for their clients, to be able to manage those accounts for them, then they can buy this real allocated gold. What else does it do? Well, it allows their clients for the first time to have this unprecedented liquidity for their portfolio as well. So any time their clients, who tend to be asset rich and maybe cash poor, they can say, rather than hassling the advisor for more money and have that sent to them, they can simply just use their Glint account. And effectively they'll be selling their gold when they use the card. That's what happens in real time. They'll be able to spend their bit of their portfolio, and the portfolio manager will go through their normal routine of rebalancing their portfolio whenever they do that. But they don't have the administrative hurdle or headache of dealing with selling and getting funds across to the client. So
this
the
makes gold more liquid.
It does. It brings Glint now not just to a consumer-facing retail product, but now to the wealth management world as well.
Interesting. Well, these are going to be very interesting times for gold.
Yes.
I think so in the years ahead. Thank you so much, Jason.
Thank you.